Thank you, everyone, for joining us and listening in on our knowledge exchange. Today, we're so happy to be speaking to you about what research and community partnership can look like. I've got myself and David will introduce ourselves in a minute, who bring that community and university research to this partnership. So what we're going to be talking about today is an implementation bright spot, and this is the partnership between Street Soccer London and ourselves as researchers looking at sport for social inclusion. So the goals for our conversation today is for you to understand about the program, so Street Soccer London as the community sports program, and understanding sort of how it works to engage people into sport who might otherwise have some barriers around their participation. And then we'll be talking about collaboration through research and how we do that collaboration and how we sustain that collaboration. And I think what we'll be telling you is basically how, in working together, we meet our own goals, but we actually enhance what both do. And that's our objective for our conversation today. So you'll learn about Street Soccer London, you'll learn about community-based research, and hopefully it will be inspiring for you to think about how you might do inclusive sports and make sure that there's some sort of evaluation and research tied to that work. And so on that note, I will pass it over to David to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. How are you today? I'm David Strickland, and I'm the head coach and co-founder of Street Soccer London, which was established essentially in 2015. And I have experience serving vulnerable and marginalized members of our community with diversified approaches towards breaking down barriers to participation in sport and physical activity. And one of the key things that I value is an everyone matters approach to social inclusion. And we all have challenges. And so my focus is bridging connections, starting with self, that will resonate from the inside out into community and beyond.
Great, thank you. So my name's Abe Oudshoorn. I'm associate professor in the School of Nursing at Western University. And I am a researcher, but I'm also a nurse by background and have experience working with people experiencing homelessness in the community. And now I do research all about helping people find home, find community, and find wellness, particularly people who are multiply marginalized in experiences of homelessness. I think community-based research is vital. I think we need to be doing the work in the spaces where people are living and engaging in community. And what's really important for me in my research is the wisdom of people who are living or have lived these experiences. And so community-based research is really centered on that, is that involvement and that inclusion of lived expertise.
Street Soccer, our mission is to engage with marginalized. We originally targeted homelessness, but we've broadened it to an everyone matters approach to include everyone from Men's Mission to groups like My Sister's Place or CMHA and anyone off the street. We purposefully involve police officers, and the trick is to try and help people that are dealing with various challenges connect with their self and other people in their community to participate in sports and become healthier and make connections that help them on various levels. And by creating a safe space, a place where they can be themselves and be accepted for being themselves, establish a foundation that resonates out in the community and beyond. Street Soccer London wanted to engage people to be physically active through the beautiful game of soccer. So we needed a venue, we needed to connect with people, we needed to be able to get that message out and also have people show up and attend. So we met homeless and marginalized people on their turf as best we could. So I went out into areas like soup kitchens and churches and Men's Mission, places like that. And we talked to people and told them, listen, we've got a space that you can come and show up and play with other people and just engage in some fun activity. In order to make that happen, we obviously had to have a location. So we made some arrangements with city and with other places that would have a safe space and a physical location, and have a consistent access point so people could come out and engage in physical activity. From there, we tried to make it fun. We tried to make it, again, safe and engaging, and keep an open mind and listen to what they had to say. We brought foods and gave them a place where they could change and basically just feel at home in that safe space. So the fascinating thing about street soccer is initially we approached people trying to engage them to come and play sport, but realized a lot of people are intimidated by thinking they're going to come out and play some sort of organized sport or some sort of organized physical activity, especially for people that aren't mobile or do have real physical limitations or challenges from a cognitive aspect, that you're getting them out the door, getting them to step on the field becomes a little bit of a process. So we've had a number of people that were intimidated to come, and I tried to engage them more on a social level and say, listen, let's start this way. Come out, have a look, see what it's like, enjoy the safe space and the snacks and some of the conversation. And then if you're feeling ambitious, we'll get you on the field. And it's not going to matter if you are the captain of Team Colombia or Messi from Argentina, the world's greatest player. You can be someone who's never touched a soccer ball before or is not a runner. You don't have to be like an athlete the neurotypical world wants to put on a pedestal. You can just come out and have fun. And I think the big thing that we really try and focus on is that fun and consistent safe space environment. So whether a police officer that comes out to check it out and be a part of it, or whether it's someone who's passing by that just sees a bunch of people giggling and having fun and kicking a ball around, or whether it's a true soccer player fan that wants to be a part of it, or I could go on and on. But when you build a little fun, safe space that's consistent for people to show up, connections are made. And again, that resonates and gives people that never expected to have a place, a little more place, and builds a community that they can identify with and also help mentor other people that are going through that as well. Encourage people to have fun and develop an acceptance of themselves and other people that are going through struggles that they didn't even realize. Hey, there's another person that's got something in their closet that I never even realized that other people are going through stuff like me or worse than me. We really encourage people to reach out and take some steps towards other people. And in doing so, that gives them a self-confidence to do more. One of the things that we do at street soccer is just not make it about scoring goals. We really take the focus off of self as best we can and make it about community and team building. You'll have people that first think, well, my only self-worth is if I score a goal. But everybody's encouraging everybody to participate. Really welcome people that don't have a sense of belonging elsewhere. We have a population within our program that is really disconnected, I think is the right way to say it. So at street soccer, we really do our best to make a safe space that connects people. And we connect people that are on those fringes and are extremely marginalized in different areas. We're building connections where they can see challenges in other people right there before their own eyes. So for instance, if someone has a Tourette syndrome or there's someone that's recovering from addictions, there's other people there that have those same challenges. When you're coming to a place like street soccer and you see someone or meet someone who has an intellectual challenge or maybe comes from an area of abuse, there's things that will, if it's a safe space where they don't feel the need to keep everything inside and they're accepted for just being themselves, whether they move slower than the next person, whether they do have emotional outbursts, people there are not going to completely judge them and say goodbye. It's a very warm, embracing environment where that acceptance is there, that all of a sudden the person is saying, hey, I can come there and help that person. And I never thought I'd be the type of person to do that. And when you can encourage and find a way of serving your fellow humanity in unique little ways, whether it's I can make those around me better by just simply passing them the ball and encouraging them, or a warm hug or an embrace or a laugh or some little connection that's built that again resonates out. Soccer runs year round. We have 2 physical locations that we currently use and have been using for years now. One through the winter time from about October till June, we will play indoors at North London Optimist Community Centre from 2 to 4 every Monday. And that is at Cheapside and Highbury. And then the outdoor is at Kipps Lane and Adelaide at North London Athletic Fields. and we play on the mini field by the baseball diamonds. That's just south of the river there. It's a beautiful little location. And again, that is Mondays 2 to 4 p.m. And that will be from pretty much all of July through to as late as October, depending on weather. So those are the two physical locations. We always go from Monday 2 to 4 p.m. With any program that's worth its salt, it's best to get right out there on the front lines to see what's going on, because no matter what I say or how I encourage someone to come out and visit, whether it's Abe or whether it's someone living on the street, the trick is to get them to the field. And once they're there, there's just all sorts of little things that are right there happening and resonating. So the trick is to just get people out there to experience it on the front line. And that's, word of mouth. That's just someone speaking positively. We're trying to build bridges that make it easier for someone to access something that maybe they didn't know was there, and that they can take out and spread the word on and make connections again that ripple and resonate out.
So I think everyone now who's heard from David about what street soccer is can understand why, when I learned about it, I said we need to be telling the story of this work. And for me, that's what a lot of community-based research is about. Of course, it's about science and it's about testing and measuring things. But in a big part, it's a storytelling. It's doing it through a way that's just maybe a bit more objective, a bit more organized and planned by research. But I learned about Street Soccer London when I was facilitating the London Homeless Coalition, and David was coming out to talk about what they were doing and to see if any folks wanted to participate. And I had a chance to go out there, and I had a chance to see the program and just see the truly effective and inclusive environment that was being built through this work. And so I said, David, and they were partnering with the Salvation Army at that time as well. And so I said to them that this is vital work, and I'd love to be part of understanding the impact that it's having. And so that's what we did, is we did an evaluative type research project where we learned about folks qualitatively and quantitatively, where they were coming from in terms of their well-being, in terms of their physical activity, and try to sort of capture that as they engaged into the program, and then follow that over time and saw how their well-being was impacted. And that wasn't just looking at things like physical activity. We did look at that and sort of people's sense of confidence in their physical activity. But we also looked more broadly at things like housing stability. So folks were coming because they were connected with homeless serving programs. They also doing better in other aspects of their life, like getting stable housing and that sort of thing. So it's over a year, and we had some wonderful research assistants. And what was great about the program, because it is so welcoming and inclusive program, is our research assistants who were doing the evaluation, doing the interviews and surveys with folks, were just a welcome part of the game. And so I told my research assistants, if you're going to be doing this work, you're going to be on the field. You're going to be out there and playing the game with people and sharing the meals with them. And that, to me, that is, again, it's community-based research, right? Is that we're not there to the space, impact the space. We want to have as gentle a touch as possible in terms of what we're coming into. And in this case, that meant being an inclusive part of that community, kicking the ball with folks, and then inviting them, hey, do you want to stay a little bit after so we can chat and ask you some research questions. So it was a really good partnership in terms of partner in Street Soccer London, who were really welcoming for our students and myself in doing this work. And that's important because it opens the door to the participants, right? Because they're trusted folks to the participants. And so when they say, hey, these are good people, the researchers we trust, that open door is vital for us having engagement. A lot of times coming into doing data collection, you're not going to get a lot of response if people don't know who you are, they don't trust what you're doing. So that bridging between the Street Soccer London leaders was really vital for us to actually do that evaluative type of work. So we've known each other for quite a while now, and there was a time around the evaluation and that report development where we were most involved in it, but have continued to stay in touch since then. And I think really the mutuality is what's important, and that mutuality I think comes from starting from a place of really both recognizing each other's intentions, uh, valuing those intentions, and then supporting them. So, I recognize, understand, and honor what street soccer is doing in creating effective spaces of belonging. And then secondarily, good places for people to engage in sports who might not otherwise be active. And then, David and everyone we got to know through the program understands that, we as researchers have goals and roles to play in developing knowledge. And then that comes with specific tasks. And so we need people to participate in interviews, and they understand that's a requirement. And so I think that understanding and respecting each other's kind of mutual needs and goals has been really key. And I think, both getting to know kind of each other as well as people, as I think for me, seeing David's heart in the work, and I suspect mutually David seeing my heart in what I'm trying to accomplish. So I think sustaining the work is easy when you both are really sort of really respect each other and respect what each other are doing and accomplishing. So it makes it very easy. Yeah. So I would say that community engaged research is it's fun. It's awesome. You get a lot out of being engaged with people in their daily lives and the daily services they might be receiving. It can also be challenging from the researcher side. And I think one of the big challenges is that as researchers, we have so many demands on our time as teachers, as administrators, as researchers in many, many projects. Um, and so I think it can, it can easily come apart um, when you aren't honest about the fact that you just can't do it all yourself. And so, what was important in me in getting this work done is I had to engage research assistants. And so, it'd be wonderful if I could have been there every week myself and playing soccer and that sort of thing. And um, David was always welcoming and remains welcoming to me to participate, but also recognizing that other folks need to do the work as well. And so they welcomed everyone who we brought in as part of our team. So it is difficult as researchers with our time demands. So I think what I would really recommend is have a research team, have roles with the members of your research team, and recognize that you as the lead researcher can't do everything. That can be hard because I think we'd all love to do it all, um, but know that some tasks are delegated out, and have a community partner that welcomes the folks who are doing the work as well. So in doing this work, it's important for us to get sort of comprehensive data. And I think if you were listening closely to stories David was telling about the folks that they're supporting in this work, they may not be someone who's going to sit down and do a 45-minute interview or complete a 20-point survey. Certainly, it was very important that we were there having the research assistants complete the surveys with the soccer participants. So I'd say that the challenge is to get good data in this context. You need to be there and you need to collect the data yourself with the participants and walk them through it. And you need to be patient and recognize someone who you really want to be part of the study because you're like longest standing participant just might not be at a space where they've got a lot to contribute in terms of data. So I'd say that the challenge is that you need to be there in the space, and it's resource intensive in that way in doing the work. It's not like sending out a survey to 2,000 email addresses and working with what you get back. I would highlight a couple points. One is that starting on the foundational shared goals. And so actually, one of the things I've really liked about things like the tri-councils right now in terms of doing research is that they ask a lot of questions about partnership. And they really are looking for, as much as possible, that you are coming to the research grant writing with partnerships in place. So it's not like we're going to do this project and we'll find the right people to work with once we get the money. It's that we already have an engaged partnership. We have mutual goals and understanding, and we're going to do this. We're going to put this grant in together so that we can do this work together. So I would say that deep early partnership is vital. And so again, I had met David and learned about the project and came out and kicked around a ball before we ever thought about doing any evaluation of the project. Secondly, I think recognizing the point I just made about the fact that you as the principal investigator probably won't be doing much of the data collection yourself. You're going to rely on expert research assistants, is to have really thoughtful processes about getting people who can do that work with the population. Now, this is a particular population that we were working with diversity of highly marginalized individuals. Your population as a researcher might be different, but it's thinking about, do I have a research assistant maybe who's worked in this space in private employment, or have they volunteered already in organizations such as this, or do they come with lived experience that's similar to those participants? So having people who are going to in that space and right away build a relationship, be included, and be able to get to collecting the data. And then finally, I would say it's thinking about what the storytelling needs to be. And so research papers are important. For your projects, you may also want to think about public-facing reports that the organization can use to, in maybe more practical ways than they could use a research paper. So if you want to do community-based research around physical activity, if you want to do research with, for example, clinics, with teams, organizations, sports providers, in a community sort of based context. One of the things, so you can read a lot, right? So of course people will go to community-based participatory action research, for example, writings. That's great. I would do that. Also, I would really recommend you go out to organizations who maybe have been involved with evaluation before and ask them about what worked and what didn't work for them, right? So go out to, maybe it's a large, youth sports program. Maybe it is as a charitable service, and ask them, have you done research before? And if so, what worked and what didn't? And I think you'll learn a lot from that, as much as you'll learn about what's been written usually by the academics about doing community-based research, is talking to the actual service providers who've done research in the past, and they'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly of their past experiences, which will help you tailor to your current ideas.
Thank you for that. Are there any additional considerations for engaging our underrepresented groups in physical activity research that are important to keep in mind either at the onset of a project? Yeah, at the onset of a project.
I think one of the important things, of course, as on the research side, we have to think about the ethics of our research. And so I do think when we're talking about marginalized populations, you do have a whole host of different considerations to give to who might be involved and what might they experience. And so things like what happens if folks disclose things, right? So what happens if they disclose that maybe someone's taking financial advantage of them, or they disclose that they are currently experiencing violence, or if they disclose something like they know about a child who's in a difficult situation. So you do need to be prepared for the kind of different harms that may be existing in people's lives. So I'm not talking about prepared for harms we may do through the research. That's covered in our research ethics process, but rather what happens when people disclose to us. And so you need to be ready with recommendations and resources. And so if you are working with something like Street Soccer London, it's very helpful to talk to them and say, hey, if something comes up in our meeting, or if someone goes into crisis while I'm talking to them at the side of the field, is your team available or prepared to help them, or do I need to be coming up with something else that I need to offer should that occur? So yeah, I would really recommend that. Well, the ethics process is important. It's maybe not sufficient to think about all the possible things that you might encounter while you're talking to people who are living very traumatic and difficult lives. So have resources ready, be prepared and know what to do if someone discloses some really serious difficulty going on in their life. For me, the most rewarding aspect of this is actually came through my students who were engaged as the research assistants collecting data with the sports participants. I think it really, when we think about research, we probably don't have a picture in our mind of going out and playing soccer with folks in the community and then asking them some questions while you're, sharing a snack after. I really enjoyed watching and listening to my research assistants who were seeing research as a real practical tool to really help directly with service provision. I think this really pushed the way that they were thinking about research, and really takes it into this really practical way. So to me, that was really fulfilling. I loved watching their learning and their excitement about doing evaluative research in the community with these types of important services. So if you're thinking about doing community-based research, if you're looking at sport, if you're looking particularly at sport for inclusion, I would just invite you is go for it. It's going to be such rewarding work. It's a great community to be a part of. The folks out there who are facilitating the sports and the services are 9 times out of 10 going to be really welcoming and excited to have you there. So it's a great field, and I hope more people are going to participate in this type of research. Well, thank you for listening to what we had to say about sport for inclusion and doing research with sport for inclusion providers. In conclusion, I really hope that you heard that this research and this type of service working together can really be mutually beneficial. We can help profile and improve the programs, and the programs themselves can give us a space to do the research that we think is valuable. Secondly, in terms of the program itself, I hope that you've heard and learned that Street Soccer in London really creates this incredible inclusive space for people living very difficult lives to have fun and to belong, to be part of community, and also perhaps to be a little bit more active and to learn a little bit more about sport. Thank you.
When it comes to takeaways in a project like this, it's just a matter of going forward and accepting the zigs and the zags, if you will, because sometimes the most important things in your service, in your research, come from directions that you didn't expect. With Street Soccer London, we take that everyone matters approach. So when you empower someone, for instance, Helen Keller said it best, I'm only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do something that I can do. And when you can empower someone with that type of approach, including yourself, that's just going to resonate out and beyond. And when you meet fascinating people like Dr. Abe Oudshoorn, we've had a relationship doing things in hopes of improving community. The bridges that are built, the truths that are uncovered, the fascinating experiences are there just motivate you to do more and help you feel connected. And quite honestly, if we can instill a little bit of positive motivation into someone that hasn't come from a background of support, then you're going to make a difference. It's amazing how the little steps can make a much more of an impact than you realize. An everyone matters approach, and I hope that you can take out a little bit of your own inspiration and shine your light. Thank you very much.